Hi, YouTubers. So let's talk about what you can expect from a chiropractor. So I guess the job I had, I was sitting a lot. Sometimes I was working in a desk job and I was sitting a lot. And then there was times I was working on the actual floor, building and constructing things. And then there was times I was out with the customer, repairing stuff. And um, my back was telling me that this was all not good. So anyway, my work got me a stand-up desk, which was good because I could stand and sit at my own time that I wanted. And anyway, so I made a decision to go to a chiropractor. Now, before I did that, I asked around and asked lots of people, like, do you know anyone who goes to chiropractor or whatever? So oddly enough, I had a hard time finding people that went to a chiropractor. I had one guy that went to a, what was it called, like a no impact chiropractor. So he says he's getting a lot of luck with that and everything else. So what I did was I went to this chiropractor and I went there for like a month and a half, and I used to ask him lots of questions because I was reading all about chiropractor and their history and what they do and the names of all the parts and everything else. So I'm asking him lots of questions. Now, if you've never been to these guys, they're they're an interesting breed. So what they do is they lay you on a table and they tap you on the head, and then they rub their fingers down your back, and they take your shoes off and they put these shoes that have no heels. They're like slippers, but anyway, so they put these on your feet and then they somehow twist your feet a little bit, and then they tap you on your back and or they'll anyway, everything is so soft, like there's nothing there. And I'm wondering, like, when am I going to start feeling better, and when am I going to get my back adjusted? When's it going to get to be fixed? So the stuff I'm finding out from other chiropractors is that inflammation is what does the healing, right? So they would say things like, you know, if you cut your hand, the first thing that happens, or your finger, it swells, and that's the inflammation that starts the healing process. So they said that's what we do to bones, is we get them moving and get them inflamed a little bit so that the blood will rush there and start the healing process. And that all made sense to me. So one day I asked him, I go, like, when are you going to, you know, induce inflammation into my back so it can start healing? Well, that was probably the last question that I asked, because he said, well, I want to see you in my office after this. And we both fired each other right there. He told me he doesn't like being asked questions and so on. So then I found another chiropractor that's holistic, and oddly enough, when I mentioned this guy's name, he had sent his mother and his sisters and his wife to this chiropractor I was now going to, who does actual cracking of backs and stuff. Isn't that odd, eh? That he wouldn't help his own family with his system, but he would send them. Anyway. So they give you x-rays. So the first thing that happens when you go into these chiropractors is it's like almost like a cult feeling, because I went there the first time and I got bad vibes from that office, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know, it's like a cult. It feels like a cult. It's got videos up on the wall, and the doctor that you're going to see is on these videos trying to sell you products. So anyway, they show you about the first chiropractor that adjusted someone's neck and fixed their hearing. Yeah, that might be true. I don't know. Like the guy who had his hearing fixed, did he write a book about it? I don't know. So, are we basing an entire practice on this? No, I don't know. So anyway, I listened to their spiel. I already had in my head I wanted that kind of chiropractic work done because I believe in that inflammation and stuff. You know. So here's some of the things that happens is they get you going. And for these guys, they had me going like they had the first 3 weeks or something, a couple of adjustments a week for free. They told me it was free, but it wasn't really. So after that, then they have this girl talk you into a plan. So this plan involves thousands of dollars and so many adjustments and whatever. So then you get thinking and talked into a plan whether you're insured or not. I'm insured, but still I'm going like, why would I want a plan if the insurance is going to cover it? In any event, I went for the plan. I thought, what the hell? And these clowns, I found out later, what they do is they take the money out of your visa, and if you don't ask for a bill, they don't give you a bill. It's completely absurd. Everywhere I go, they hand me a bill, and then they want the money. These guys, they just take the money out of your visa, and if you don't ask for a bill, you don't get it. That's crazy. So, no matter how much I talked to them, they said their way was the right way, and they didn't understand why I was bothered by it all. You know. Anyway, so this just kept on and on and on. You know, another thing they didn't do was... when you start looking into this, and I recommend looking at John Bergman on YouTube. He's got a whole bunch of videos on how to cure yourself of all kinds of things, but he's a chiropractor. He talks about backs and stuff. So he says nutrition is paramount, right? So these people didn't even, I asked many times, they didn't help me with nutrition. Didn't know. The only nutrition they knew was what they were selling. So if I didn't need what they were selling, then I was going without. They didn't. So through the exercises I was doing before I went to these guys, I learned that an injury, a muscle injury or something like that, can cause the spine or anything to start to twist out of shape, right? So if you've got a muscle injury, I found out that is always pulling on one side because it's knotted or tight, it's going to pull your spine that way, right? But these guys never asked me about that stuff, right? They didn't look for the cause. They're only like, well, let's straighten the spine, because that's what they do, right? So they don't say, well, you know what we have to do is first figure out why it got warped and bent, and is it malnutrition, or is it something that you're eating? Is it an allergy effect? Is it an injury? What are you doing on your spare time that might be causing that? Or what are you doing at work? Are you sitting wrong at work? Are you lifting wrong at work? Or what? They don't ask nothing. So they don't care about how it happened. They care about, let's get this guy adjusted, and let's keep getting him adjusted, and let's keep making that $45 for less than a minute of work. Get him in and out, in and out, in and out. And there's a parade of people. So anyway, this place felt really cultish. So here I am at work. I'm at work, and I'm asking people about different chiropractors, and I get people sending me like websites showing all these people that have been permanently injured from chiropractors. Now I'm fully aware that for every one permanently injured person, there might be 10,000 or something like that, that are not injured. I mean, that are perfectly fine, have been helped and everything else. So I didn't take a lot of that to heart. And so there I am laying on, I'm near the end of this chiropractic event, so I'm almost done my year. And he's about to adjust my neck, and I told him, I said, you know, I really didn't sleep good last night. I can't even turn my head. My head is so tight. My neck is so tight. Didn't even faze him. He goes and he starts cracking my neck. Well, every day that I've had my neck cracked there, I mean, it always hurt going home, and sometimes it would hurt the next day too. So that was expected. But when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't even move my head. I mean, I was bedridden. I just could not move my head. So the next day I went in and told them what happened, and oh, he brought in his dad, and they were scrambling to figure out what's wrong with this, and they were saying, oh yeah, your muscles are tight and everything else. And, well, duh. So anyway, they tried to do stuff and even tried adjusting again. Can you imagine that? Oh, so anyway, I was supposed to go in a couple more times, and I said, no, I'm not going in, because these guys have nothing up here but just adjust. Like, they don't want to help out in any other way, right? And they were saying put cold on it. So anyway, I went to a naturopath pharmacist, and he said that, well, first of all, if your muscle's knotted or tight, the last thing you should do is yank on it. So I said, well, I knew that, and I'm not even a freaking doctor. So anyway, that ended up pulling right up to the top of my head, all the way down. I could feel it in my shoulders, and it still hurts, and it's hard to sleep at night, you know, and anyway, it's going away slowly. But this pharmacist was awesome. He gave me the right stuff to take, and all of it's holistic. There's no medication that you would call medication in it. And he said that you should be constantly putting heat on it. So isn't that something? So there you go, contradiction. So I don't know. Maybe before he went to adjust my neck, I should have refused. I should have said, no, don't. But, you know, I think an argument would have ensued. He would have probably said, no, you know, this is okay. I do this all the time. But who's going to know, right? How do I know? I can't go back in time and change my answer, right? And didn't even give me a chance to react. It was like, yeah, sure, whatever, crack. And anyway, so this is what I've been going through. Am I sorry I went to a chiropractor? No. Right? Am I sorry that I let him crack my neck when it was tight? Yes. Should I go to somewhere, maybe see a nutritionist, or maybe a physiotherapist, or somebody? I've been telling doctors for a long time what's wrong with my muscles, but they don't want to hear it. They don't care what I think. I think you know your own body. And when you tell them something like, you know, I think there are fat lumps in my muscles that are causing this pain because I've had it before. And they're going, no, it's got to be something else. So, you know, like the same old story. Go to an MD, more drugs doctor, they hand you Robaxacet. And if you go to, you know, whatever doctor you go to, whatever they specialize in, that's what they're going to recommend that you do. So, anyway, just thought you should know my journey, my dealings with a chiropractor. It took me many, many years to get over my fear of chiropractors. My mom sent me to one when I was a kid, and I heard my whole spine crackle up as he jumped on me, and I said, Ma, I'm not going back to that guy. Ever. I said, it's crazy. You hear your whole spine crackling? Then I used to tell people myself, as they would ask me, like, Lou, would you ever go to a chiropractor? And I'd say, well, to me, like when he cracks your back, doesn't it sound a lot like this? Right? And what's happening there, right? So what's happening there is the gas bubbles are popping in my joints. Now, I was told when I was a kid, don't crack your knuckles because you'll never be able to stop. And you know what? I crack my knuckles anyway, and they're right. Occasionally, you got to keep cracking your knuckles because that gas builds up or something, and you got to release it. And I'm afraid that I think that might be the same thing that's happening in the back, right? So as the gas bubbles start to build up, I feel like I have to go back and get cracked, and we'll see how that works. I think there's exercises out there I can do to release these gas bubbles if they are indeed gas bubbles. But in any event, you have to keep motion in the joints to get the blood into the joints, to get everything renourished so that things can start to heal. And according to Dr. John Bergman, your body is self-healing, self-regulating, and everything's healable. even the discs. So I'm going to keep on with my journey, and I'm going to keep eating the foods that I need to eat to keep my discs going and growing. And I'm going to eat what I need to eat to keep everything going and growing and repairing. That's the big thing. And don't overstrain, don't damage it again. That's another thing. You don't want to create more damage while you're trying to heal. So anyway, that's my journey. That's what I've been going through. And I think it's all coming along nicely. But that was a really scary moment. Like, I still have trouble turning my head. It hurts a lot to turn my head. But down too is painful, and up. So, but it's coming along. It's going to take some time, I'm sure. Anyway, comment me if you have comments, and hope you have a nice day. Bye.